And last week, Couz did a video about Chad Scott as the secret sauce that makes the offense go. And that got me thinking. I know that it's not always a smart thing to do and not necessarily welcome in polite company, but I do it every now and then anyway. Can't really help it. And I think the offensive staff as it currently stands may be pretty nearly perfect for this team. Now, it's a really young staff, and it has gotten younger with every hire, the last three hires especially. You're looking at Neil Brown's just 44 as head coach. Matt Moore's the old man at 51. Still a kid to me, but, Chad Scott, 42. Belial Marshall, 30. Blaine Stewart, 29. And Tyler Allen, an ancient, 27. Makes the average 37 years. And if you take out that old man, it's even lower. Don't want to take him out. He's a good coach. But, and I think the youth, combined with the particular energy these guys have brought, has become the secret sauce. Not just Chad Scott. I think we're spreading the sauce around. And that's good, because I was really worried about when we lose Chad Scott, because it's pretty much got to happen. He's too good, and he's going to move up to being a head coach, but we'll get to some more of that. But when they hired Marshall and Stewart, I said in a video that I thought maybe Coach Brown was specifically hiring them for that energy type to match it with Marshall. Hold on just a moment. Oh, okay. Had some noise outside, and it's just a car being towed to the neighbor's house. I don't know why. It's not their car. Okay. Anyway. But I thought, he was intentionally hiring Marshall and Stewart to build on the energy from Scott. Turned out he wasn't. It was a happy accident. He did not think about how that energy was going to create synergy. But once he saw it last year, it did factor into his hiring of Cabral. So, we are trying to build, spread the sauce to the defense. Now, when Reagan left, of course, that significantly changed the average age with, moving Allen up. But we also added another guy with that type of energy. And we're not just talking high energy, it's positive energy, it's focused energy. Because Allen, he's got a precision to him that we have not seen. I liked Reagan. Especially the interviews last year, he went into somewhat more detail than he had in the past. I did not like Harold because detail was pretty much non-existent with Harold. He was a, you just do it kind of guy. And I think Allen, it's not just energy. I think he may turn out to be a really special coach. And we need to make use of him while we got him. But the combination of these guys, and they've all got experience. Now, of course, Stewart's experience was mostly NFL, but we had some consistency in the staff this year. Marshall and Stewart are now, they've been here a bit. And Allen, even though he's technically new in his spot, he's been around. So it is a consistency that we haven't really had. Basically, Brown, Moore, and Scott. Of course, Reagan was a consistent point for several years, but got moved around. He did that year at tight end, and that kind of messed things up. Not because of Reagan, but just because Harrell was not a fit. He may or may not do well in his future, but he was not a fit. Now the problem. The problem is these guys are good. And it's hard to keep good coaches. And I do not think Chad Scott will leave for anything less than a head coach spot. Probably looking at G5. But I think he will get offers for that after this season. I'm glad we kept him for another year. Will the offers be good enough? He and Brown have a good relationship. I don't think Scott will leave for just any G5 head coach, but I think there's a decent chance, or indecent, that we lose him after the 24 season. Now, the way things stood before, that scared me. Now I don't like it, but it doesn't scare me. Because I think Marshall will... I don't know if he'll be ready to move up next year. That's the part that kind of worries me. But I think that's the direction we're headed, is moving Marshall to the OC after Scott. I'd like to get 2 years before that. I don't think, Matt Moore's got the experience over everybody else, but I'm not sure he wants to move to OC, or he might have done so before. Offensive line might be, his, the level he wants. If he's not offensively minded, doesn't scheme things up and that sort of, then this is where this is his spot. In many respects, Chad Scott was promoted to OC over him. And it is typical for the skill guys, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. I don't know about wide, but to become the OC. But I wouldn't necessarily object to Moore getting it, because I like the job he's done. Although I would like to keep an energy guy as OC. So I think Marshall moves up to OC. Stewart moves up to wide receiver coach. Allen likely stays quarterback coach. And we hire a running back coach, or somebody to do running back and tight ends, unless Stewart does wide receivers and tight ends. Now, if we do get 2 years more with Scott, it gets a little more complicated, because I definitely think Marshall would be ready. Don't think Stewart would be ready, but Allen might be. Keep in mind, he's a young dude, but he's been coaching, pretty much, I don't know, before he was born. He started when he was an undergraduate. He was doing official coaching duties, unpaid, but he was coaching. So he has more experience than a lot of older guys. So, I don't like losing Chad Scott, but it doesn't worry me. But it does kind of get complicated of how we move guys around, because if you, the two ways you move up are either taking somebody else's spot when they take a new job, or taking a higher spot at another school. And don't want to get into a position where we lose. I mean, Stewart, I'm sure Stewart wants to stay because it's West Virginia, and I think he has a great relationship with Brown. But we could lose him now that he's in the college game, or we could lose him back to the pros for that matter, if he doesn't get a chance to move up when the time comes. But we've got Marshall, Stewart, and Allen, who are all guys who deserve to move up. And at some point, there won't be places for all of them. Now I'm getting paranoid because I'm worrying about what's happening 2 or 3 or even 4 years down the line, dang it. And who knows how things will stand by then. But I suppose the two things that I really wanted to say were that the sauce has been spread. We don't just have Scott. So I'm not as freaked out about losing him, and, we'll enjoy this year and hopefully whatever comes. But also that I do think we have guys to move into the key spots. I think this staff is special, is going to become increasingly special. And I just hope we can hold them together for a few years. All right. Didn't say it earlier. Please subscribe. Click the thumbs up. Make comments. I really appreciate the insightful comments. As long as you don't spell that with an INCITEFUL. I hope I spelled that correctly. Verbal spelling is not my thing. But I lost track. Please click share and tell your friends that there's this guy out here who gets paranoid and says weird things and doesn't shave as much as he should. And I'll talk to you guys later. We have practice coming up. I believe Coach Brown is due to talk afterwards. We'll get updates on injuries. There have been stories about injuries out there, but it seems to be just gossip and chatter and not anything real that we know as far as for now. The portal is officially open. We have not had any new people enter. Charlie Katarinchik is officially in the portal now, but he had left the team earlier. Still no word on DJ Oliver entering the portal. But evidently there wasn't anybody waiting to turn in their paperwork as soon as the portal opened that we didn't already know about. So we'll just keep waiting and keep watching. So long.